Hello everyone, I'm Dan Kaufman. This is your SBJ Executive Insight with Teamworks. I'm joined by Kevin Barefoot. He's the SVP for Business Development at Teamworks. Kevin, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Excited to be here as part of the conference.
Kevin, Teamworks, you guys bill yourself as the operating system for sports, but you got to unpack that. Tell us what that means.
Sure. So probably the more formal answer about who we are is, we're an enterprise SaaS company headquartered in Durham, North Carolina, which is where the company was founded. We got a few offices here in North America, one in Brisbane, Australia, one in Europe, and about 375 headcount. We've tripled in just the last 4 years or so. Probably the more exciting version of what we do is, we build tech solutions to empower athletes and the staff and the leaders that surround them. So as it relates to the operating system for sports, it could be helpful just to take a step back and look at the broader landscape of kind of how we got here and the vision behind it. When you look at the landscape of sports tech in particular, over the last couple of decades, there's really been two distinct eras, if you will. From about 2006 to 2016, there was this period of rapid growth and expansion in the sports tech industry. Every year there was 23% compound annual growth rate of new sports tech companies being founded. So in 2006, there was maybe 30, 40 founded that year, all the way up to the peak in 2016 when there were nearly 700 founded that year, new sports tech companies. And so that's a sign of a mature market, when things peak and start turning the other way, because in 2017, there was a precipitous decline. It contracted by about 43% per year from 2017 until now. And so at that peak and over the last 15 or 20 years, the market has really been flooded with a lot of point solutions and new providers and new tech companies. And I think a lot of sports leaders in the space kind of looked up about 5 years ago, and they've seen all of these different tools being stacked on top of each other over the years, and kind of voiced, are all these things helping us? Are we getting ROI? And a lot of those decisions were made by people that maybe have come and gone, and so there were real questions about how is our tech stack going to take shape? And so what we heard from the market really clearly was that athletic leaders and elite athletic organizations want a consolidated tech stack. They want tools that talk to each other and that are integrated in order to create efficiency. And from that environment really came, this idea of creating the operating system for sports, where we go out and either build or acquire best-in-class tech and tie them together so we can create a more streamlined organization.
And you're working with colleges and pro sports teams. Talk about some of the differences between those partnerships. Tell us more on there.
Yeah, absolutely. A quick analogy might be helpful to set the stage. You have kids?
I have 3.
All right, so I got 2 myself, 14 and 12. And, wouldn't it be nice if we had one place that we could go, one app, and we could see a shared calendar and know what our family's doing and where they need to be when. That we could send all communication through. That we could share files and videos and all of our content, the photos that were taken, and share those with friends and social media from there. You could track your kids' academic performance. How are they doing in school? You could track the tasks that they're doing. Are they doing their chores? Are they making progress on the pathway that you've set for them? You could see, what's for dinner tonight, and is that meeting your macronutrient goals on your nutrition path? You want to see your workout schedule, and are you meeting your different fitness needs, and how that's all tracking, and even be able to monitor your finances, right, and receive your income in one place and make sure you're setting enough aside for savings and taxes. So that's a kind of a fun analogy of how our tech would apply to a family of 4. And now that I say that out loud, wouldn't it be nice if there was actually something that did that?
I was about to say,
for a family.
I want that for my family too.
But it doesn't exist. And so as a family of 4, if you don't have something that ties us all together, you have inefficiency and there's disconnects. Now, if you extrapolate that to a 53-man roster in the NFL or an athletic department that has 400, 500, 600 student athletes, those inefficiencies begin to compound and really become glaring weaknesses in the enterprise. And so and again, that's a fun analogy, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
And so we build tools for athletic organizations to solve those problems. And so back to this idea of the operating system for sports,
Yep.
we have 12 products that serve college athletics specifically.
Mm-hmm.
We work with 98% of Division I schools in some capacity. And when you look at the top end of college athletics, the Power Four conferences, the average P4 school has about 7 of our products. When you look at the NFL, we work with 31 of 32 NFL teams and use our TeamWorks Hub product to align their players and their staff and their coaches and their trainers all together. So as we've built out this operating system, the market has really responded with adoption. And not only can we offer one vendor that each partner can come to and get one invoice and one contract and have one partner to provide a variety of solutions, but we're integrating them all together. And so sometimes the integrations are complex, like digitizing your paperwork, and if you sign a document, it comes to me, and we have DocuSign embedded, and there can be a kind of a complex path of workflows that we establish for a sports club or an organization. And some are simpler, like just single sign-on.
Yep.
And or centralizing roster management. If you're an athletic department that has 500, 600 student athletes, and you have a disconnected tech stack, you have to manage that roster in 7, 8, 9 different places.
Yeah.
If you have a TeamWorks tech stack, then student athlete transfers in, you add he or she to TeamWorks, and that same profile syncs out to all the different point solutions that we provide. So there's efficiency operationally, and then there's efficiency economically for a lot of the partners that we're serving, both here in North America with the Big 5 Pro Sports League, college athletics, but even internationally with working with the majority of English Premier League teams, or really fun partners like the New Zealand All Blacks. So.
Imagine you're sitting with a client or potential client sports organization. What is the most important thing you need to convey to them about what they should expect over the next 5 to 10 years, and why is TeamWorks important to tackle those challenges?
Yeah, I can tell you what they're thinking about right now, and it's cost management. I mean, when you think really simplistically about an elite athletic organization's budget, you got revenues minus expenses equal profits. And on the revenue side, a lot of the major revenue buckets are fixed, stable, and predictable. Like if you look at the media rights contracts of, the NBA's new deal, the SEC's TV deal, NCAA March Madness, MLS, all of those are contracted out to 2031, 32, 33. Corporate sponsorships, very similar. So, and on the revenue side, if you knew how to double ticket sales, you'd have done it years ago. So those levers aren't easy to move necessarily year to year. So the revenues are fairly fixed, fairly predictable. On the other side of the ledger, expenses are variable, they're volatile, and they're growing really quickly. Travel costs, people overhead, even food costs of feeding your players. And so as athletic organizations look to become more efficient, they're looking really, really hard at the expense side and how do we control cost and do it in a way that doesn't impact the athlete experience or the fan experience. And so we can help really lead that charge by providing that operating system and that integrated tech stack so they can lean into tech and get more efficient. And that's really the only way forward in this new world.
Kevin, for a closing statement, tell me the most important thing that the sports industry needs to know about the space that you're working in and why they should work with TeamWorks.
Well, we've really become kind of the foundational element of most athletic clubs and teams and conferences tech stack. And I think as organizations look to become more efficient, they look to be streamlined in their operations, they can lean into the technology that TeamWorks is providing. And, I think to reframe it another way, I think the next frontier of value capture in elite athletics are going to be creating hyper-efficient organizations that are profitable, and they're doing that via an interconnected tech stack. And so that's what we're bringing to the market, and that's what we've been doing for the last few years and we'll continue to do.
You recently announced a partnership with the NCAA. Tell me about that. Tell me how that ties back to the overall mission of Teamworks.
Yeah, so super exciting partnership for us. Obviously, there's a lot evolving quickly in the NIL landscape. One of the things that both student athletes and D1 athletic administrators have been begging for years is just transparency in the market. And so we're going to be launching 3 tools with the NCAA. One of them is this new data dashboard whereby schools are going to be submitting all their NIL disclosures through our tech. We're going to compile all of that data anonymously and create a really easy to navigate dashboard where student athletes, administrators, parents, agents can go and sort by conference, by position. We've protected it to protect, the student athlete specific information. So you're not going to be able to look up, what does Shedeur Sanders make in a given year. So we've gone to pretty good lengths to ensure that that's not the case. But this will be a tool that can be accessed by the general public as well, with the goal of bringing more transparency to the NIL space so folks know what's real and what's not real. The second and third pieces of that partnership are, number one, a more robust educational portal that'll be accessible by every student athlete to be able to look at information and review videos about financial literacy and how to read a contract and how to choose an agent and how to start an LLC. So that'll be launching as part of this initiative. And then finally, a service provider registry. So think of this as like Yelp meets Rate My Professor, where if I'm a tax advisor or marketing agent or attorney that works with student athletes, I can register for this. As a registrant, student athletes will have visibility to me as a service provider, and then they can rate me, right? So student athletes will be able to see peer reviews to know, which advisors and partners are maybe good ones to choose as they go down their NIL path. So super excited about that. That's going to be launching at the beginning of August, and so we can't wait to get that off the ground. We've been working really hard on that over the last 90 days. But I think, as it relates back to the overall mission of what we're doing, one of the reasons we were chosen for this project with the NCAA is we've established trust within the industry, right? We've established how our tech can be used by athletic leaders and athletic departments across the country. And so I think one of the messages, you asked me about messaging, I think one of the messages that is worth conveying is that, when we have the athlete as our North Star and we want to empower the athlete and streamline the leaders around them, we're going to be able to really contribute to helping athletic departments become more durable, more risk protected, more efficient, and therefore more profitable over the long term. So super excited about it.
Kevin, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck to you.
I appreciate you having me on. Thanks so much.
Yeah, this has been SBJ's Executive Insight with Teamworks. Thanks to Kevin Barefoot. Thanks to Teamworks. Have a great day.